Hi, and welcome to my September show and tell, where I'm gonna show you all the things that I did and that I loved in the month of September, featuring my sick voice because I've been sick for over a week now. I thought it was a little bit better, but now that I'm starting recording, it's not that great. I also see that I have some things in the background that I want to clean up, so give me a sec. Okay, that is much better. So let's start with my favorite memories for the month of September. One of the first things that I did in the month of September was coloring my hair red. And right now it's kind of faded out and I'm definitely gonna re-dye it. I hope to do it in the next couple of days. I don't hate it how it looks right now. It's still wet from the shower. But I want it to be like bright red, and it was sort of bright red when I just dyed it. But yeah, I don't know. I want to dye it again because I don't know. I love having red hair in the autumn. It's not the first time that I have colored my hair red, and I usually color it red in the autumn. I like the darker hair color on me as well. So what I did was I bleached it first. So I have some like liquid. I don't know what the English word for it is. I know that like bleaching your hair is not the terms that the hairdressers use. Like I took some of the color out and then I applied the red hair dye. So I've been really liking my hair color. And the second thing that really stood out to me in the month of September is that I got my iMac. So I'm filming this on the camera of my iMac just because for some reason, my Canon camera doesn't want to connect to this iMac, even though I have the right software installed and it should all be working properly, but it isn't. So I have to find some time to make that work. And it worked on my previous, like on my MacBook. I had the same software installed, and it should, like I said, it should work properly, but it doesn't. So, and the quality on this camera is pretty great. I like it. So yeah, my iMac, it's so fast, and I've been able to more quickly edit videos. I've been able to do live streams, which I want to talk about in the YouTube section of this show and tell. And I've just been really happy with my iMac. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm really happy that I was able to save up for it and purchase it. Another memory that stood out in the month of September was that, if you don't know, I have a membership that you can sign up for $1.99 a month, and you get access to the video version of my weekly podcast every Sunday. And you also get access to the private Discord server where we chat about tarot and all just fun stuff. And one of my members came up with the idea of watching the hot takes video from Lisa Papez in the Discord together, so we can let each other know our thoughts on the decks that Lisa's talking about. So I did that. I streamed the video on Discord, and then we were able to chat about it, and it was really fun. And I want to do it again this month. So if you want to join us for that, definitely join a membership, $1.99 a month. Like I said, you get access to the Discord server as well as the video podcast, and also a badge next to your name and special emojis that you can use in live chat, which I've been doing a lot more of. Again, I'm going to talk about that in YouTube section. And the last memory for the month of September is, it might not seem like a lot for some of you, but it's a lot for me. My father-in-law it was his birthday. He turned 60 at the end of September. And we had booked with like my boyfriend's family and the boyfriend, like me, the girlfriend, and the husband of one of his sisters. So it was the 7 of us. We went to sleep on a boat on the SS Rotterdam, which is Steamship Rotterdam, because that was on the bucket list of my father-in-law. And if you know anything about me, I am so deadly afraid of like water, like oceans, hell no, but I'm afraid of the ocean, of just streams, rivers, lakes. Everything scares me so much. I'm so afraid, let alone be on a boat. I am so afraid to be on a boat, on a ship, on a whatever. It scares me like a lot. So I had a year to mentally prepare for this trip because we already talked about it and made reservations and such like a year ago. So I had a year to mentally prepare, but I still wasn't. And it also didn't help that I was already sick, so I already wasn't feeling well. And then even though the ship like isn't moving, like it's really still and steady, but I still felt like I was gonna get seasick. I didn't have to like throw up or anything, but I was really not feeling well. I don't know, I felt really disoriented, and it also doesn't help that there aren't a lot of windows, like in the hotel room or in the room that we were in, there wasn't a window. It was a really, I guess it was a cool experience, and I'm really happy that I did it for my father-in-law because he really, really enjoyed it. I probably won't go on there again, just because I really don't like boats, even though this is like a ship and it's not, it's like almost like offensive to call it a boat. But yeah, that is the like pretty much the last thing that I did in September. Yeah, and another memory, I guess, is that I got sick, but I don't want to talk about it because you can hear it in my voice, and I've already been sick for over a week now, so I'm very, very ready for it to be over. Next category that I want to talk about is YouTube. So in the beginning of September, I watched a lot of Quinton reviews, and he has done like insanely long videos on iCarly, Victorious, and Sam and Cat, and I've watched them all. I'll link some of them in the description box below. I really like them. I personally grew up watching, and pretty much I was already old enough to probably not like it. But I did. I really liked iCarly, Victorious, and I was a little too old for Sam and Cat, but I watched it just because I used to watch iCarly and Victorious. But I just really liked what Quinton did for his videos with that. So he went over the entire like episodes for every season, and then he did these intermissions where he would talk about merch or other fun stuff related to the show that I found really, really interesting. Another thing that stood out to me on YouTube this month was I've been following Rachel Oates a long time. She is a content creator here on YouTube. She is a poet. She writes poetry. She's very well known for her very thoughtful review criticizing the poetry books of Gabby Hanna, sorry. And Rachel, she writes her own poetry. She did her own parody book of Gabby Hanna poetry book, Dog Lessons, which I haven't bought yet. Now that I have an e-reader, which I will talk about in a bit, I might want to pick that up. But she wrote a poem about her choice to be child-free. Now, I personally do not have the wish to be child-free. I would absolutely love to be a mother. However, I absolutely support anyone's wish to be child-free, because it's a whole responsibility to have a kid, and not everybody wants to have children. Not everybody wants to be a parent. So I'll insert a little bit of a clip of her poem, and I'll link it down below. I really, really recommend you check it out. I think she recited it really well, and it's just, I don't know, I really enjoyed it.
As the years go by, I place a padlock and chain around the room, only to have men in suits show up with paper bolt cutters to tear it down. Men, women, and children saunter in with buckets of paint, ladders, hammers, and a measuring tape. They legislate to redecorate before, in their words, it gets too late. They tell me I need a minimum of 3 previous occupants and to marry a man who'll decide for me before they trust a silly little woman like me to place a lock on her own property. Without my locks, I live in fear that one day I'll wake up and find an unwanted guest in my spare room.
She's also talked about putting up more poetry, and actually by the time I'm filming this, she just posted a new one, I think yesterday or the day before, about, what was it about? Oh, it was a really heavy one, so trigger warning for domestic violence on that one, but that one was also really heavy, really interesting, and really well done. The last channel that I sort of discovered, I guess, for myself this month was Alexandra Gator, and she does a lot of interior design. So I've talked about this a lot of times before, I think, but I really want to move, because the only way, like, this desk and my entire setup is in like pretty much in the middle of the living room. Like the couch is right here, facing the TV. And I'm in the middle of my living room, just in a little corner here that I'm taking up space up for my computer and all my stuff. I really want to move and get an office, like an entire room, an office where I can film videos, where I can do live streams, because I just want to have the freedom to film whenever I want, instead of only being able to do film on the weekends, because that is when my boyfriend is at work and I am off work. And I also just want to have like an aesthetic background, and I don't know, I want it to look better than just my living room, I guess. And Alexandra has such wow, did you hear my voice there? Oh, I'm sorry. But Alexandra has such a great taste, like in interior design. I just really like it. I feel like a lot of interior designers, or a lot of like room makeovers, go into the minimal and the clean, neutral tones. But I really like that she does a lot of bolder, colorful makeovers as well. And I would really like to implement some of like more colors into my future office as well. So I made this mock-up. This could probably be in memories, but if you're watching like this part and you are listening to my rambles, you deserve to hear my cringe thing that I made, okay? And I'll put it on the screen. But I made this little mock-up in Photoshop, like really badly. It wasn't meant to look good. I just wanted to see what the space would look like. So I'll pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up on my screen too, so I can sort of walk you through what I made. So I have a couple of different versions with different colored backgrounds, but this is the vintage rose sort of background wallpaper or wall paint. And I do have this tapestry already. I bought it years ago off of Shein. No, Wish. They're both shitty. Don't purchase from Shein or a Wish. It is the last Wish purchase that I ever made. And then I got some wall art that I got from Redbubble that I really want to purchase. I got some Avatar, Korra, and some, I don't know, just some fun prints, posters, I guess. Then the beautifully edited calyx unit on legs, and the like wicker baskets, I guess. And then I want a lot of plants. I want way more plants than this, but it was really hard to insert these plants in a PNG kind of way. And I just copied some plants from IKEA, and I added plant pots to two of them. And then like a velvet chair in the corner there, because I think that will look cute. And maybe I could have my dog on there if I do like my live streams or my podcast recordings. So that is like the background that I want to have in my office. So I would have like my desk here, and then that on my back wall. And I also have some more furniture and things, ideas that I have that are just, I'm so excited. And after watching Alexandra again, I just have a lot of ideas when it comes to interior design for the office. And after watching Alexandra Gator, I got more excited. So some YouTubey things that I did myself that I'm really happy with and that I'm really proud of is that I started a new live streaming series. So the plan is to go live every Saturday afternoon. I still have to find a time that really, really works for me. But I think it's going to be around 1 or 2 p.m. unless Saturday evenings are more convenient for people. But I know that when if I stream on Saturday evening, it would be like late morning, early afternoon in the US. And I know a lot of other streamers are live then as well. So I thought to have as little competition, I guess, as possible, I would stream in the afternoon. And then if you want to watch it, the replay is available instantly. So anyway, in these live streams, I cover world news topics. So I pull cards on world news topics and ones that I've done before. So I'm actually going to go live for the 3rd time later today. Let's see, which ones have I done before? So in the first episode, one of the main topics was about the monarchy in England. And I talked about the future of King Charles III, the future of that sort of stuff. I talked about the whole situation with Maggie Wilson, the creator of the Metaphysical Cannabis Oracle, sorry. That whole situation is ridiculous. If you don't know about it, check out my short. I'll link it down below. So you'll be caught up within like a minute of what is happening. I'm not purchasing from Liminal 11 until they put out a statement, and it has to be a satisfying statement for me to want to purchase a Liminal 11 deck again, because they're just they're just not addressing it at all publicly. So, and then on the second live stream episode, I mainly talked about the situation in Iran going on right now. I talked about Matt Gaetz joining Twitch, the future of the strictness of online platforms because Andrew Tate is banned. I talked about so much: the refugee crisis in the Netherlands, Liz Truss as Prime Minister of the UK, and then today I want to talk about, and it will be already up, timestamped and all by the time this video goes live, but I'm going to talk about the Try Guys firing Ned Fulmer. I'm going to talk about the Russia mobilization, the election results of Italy. I want to talk about the transgender law in the Netherlands, the fake referendum in Ukraine, and way more. The sabotage in Nord Stream as well. So that is what I'm doing for my live stream series. And another thing that I've been enjoying to do is to download my live stream afterwards and to create shorts out of them. So for every topic, I pull cards. I have a question that I want to answer, and then I pull cards, and I take each little section and I edit them into a short for YouTube as well as a reel for Instagram. And I've also been uploading them on TikTok, so you can follow me on there. Instagram and TikTok are also Tarot with Ruby. However, if you already follow me on YouTube, you'll get the shorts here as well. I'm really not focusing on growing on Instagram or TikTok. I'm just wanting to share my existing content on there. Okay, now I want to talk about books that I read and listened to. I have to say, I was really going strong in the beginning of the month, but then I sort of was slacking also because I was sick, so I didn't want to read. I didn't want to strain my eyes and really focus on something. But also, I was just really tired at the end of the day, and I, again, didn't want to focus on anything. So what I have been reading, the first book that I read and finished in the month of September is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I thought it was a really interesting read. I have been a fan of Jeanette McCurdy, like I said, ever since iCarly. So I have really enjoyed her acting. I have really enjoyed her music, and then later her podcast and the interviews that she's done, and now her book. And I think it's amazing that she's sort of taking this trauma, something that she never chose to be a part of, but she's sort of making the most out of it. And I hope she's getting hella rich out of this, because I just wish that for her. It is a very tragic story, so if you're interested in this, there are definitely some trigger warnings that go with it, but I think it was a really amazing read. I also added stickers to my e-reader. This is the Kobo Clara, by the way. A book that I listened to, that I finished in the month of September, is a Dutch one. It is by a Dutch author, Rutger Bregman, and the name is De meeste mensen deugen. But there's also an English version of this. Let me see. The English version is Humankind, A Hopeful History, which I'll link down below. And the links for the books are Amazon associate links, so affiliate links. So that is the one that I finished. I thought that was a really great audiobook, and it gave a lot of eye-opening perspectives and talked about social experiments. And the idea is that instead of having the mindset that every person, every human being, is bad by nature, the author believes that people are good by nature, and that there are social experiments and just things that happened in life that argue that people tend to want to be good to other people. So I really, really enjoyed that. I highly, highly recommend you read or listen to that book. I thought it was really, really amazing. Let's see, another book. Here. This was kind of also a trigger warning here. This is by Sabine Dardenne, and the name is Ik was 12 en fietste naar school, which is Dutch for I was 12 and was cycling to school. And the subtitle is 80 Days in the Basement of Detroit. And it was wild. This is the cover, and it's the story of a woman who got kidnapped when she was 12. And it was really hard to listen to at times, but it was also really fascinating. I liked that it wasn't too long, because these stories, like if it's too long, I think, I don't know if I would have been able to finish it just because it's so horrific, but because there's a real good like tempo in there, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, again, it's really tragic, but I still really enjoyed it. And I think it's amazing that the victim was able to put her own story into words and have it out there for us to be able to read, or I listen to it. Then another book that I started but wasn't really able to finish was Chardonnay, which was a book about someone who was quitting drinking. I didn't really love it just because I thought the pacing was a little slow. So I don't know, I get easily bored by books, so which is why I like having an e-reader, because there are, as well as the Kobo subscription, so that I don't have to feel bad when I don't finish a book. And then another book that I recently started is Damn Honey. Apparently, I'm reading the Dutch version, because the English version I don't think is on Kobo, but it's about feminism, and I'm really excited to read more about it. I just started it. I only have like the first chapter that I've read, so yeah, those are books. Now for decks that I added to my wish list, there's only one that I really added to my wish list, and that is one that I saw in Lisa Papez's Hot Takes video, and it's the Earthly Souls and Spirits Moon Oracle. I'm not really like a huge Oracle fan. There are some Oracle decks that I like, but I'm really critical of like the way that I use Oracle decks. Not every Oracle works for me, but I thought this one was really pretty, and I'm very excited to see. It comes out in the US earlier than in Europe, so I really have a chance to get to see walkthroughs and videos of people who have it and what their thoughts are on it before it comes out in Europe, and I know whether or not I want to purchase it. Another deck that I was really interested in was the Sufi Tarot, but overall I think, because I'm just not well versed in Sufism, and one of my members wrote a whole description of what Sufism is, which I learned a lot from, and I just don't think that I am able to truly appreciate the Sufi tarot for what it is and what it does and what it was made for. But I do think it's really stunning. Okay, next. Decks that I have decluttered, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 decks that I decluttered. And the way that I decluttered was, I talked about this, I think in my previous show and tell, that I have my journal and I wrote down all these little mini reviews for all my decks. And I took a look at, like when I was sick, I think I did it when I was sick. And I just had all my decks in front of me and I was like, okay, which ones do I love? And which ones am I just not sure about? And then from the ones that I was not sure about, I took out a lot that I wanted to declutter. So some of, like all of these, I still have to put on Vinted, because that is where I sell my decks. So let's start with the first one, the Zombie Tarot. I literally got it for around this time of year, but the deck is too, like a little bit too thick for my hands to shuffle. I do have mobility issues, so the shuffling of the deck is really important to me, because like I have mobility issues mostly in my right-handed thumb. And I thought that this would be such a great deck for me because it's quirky, it's silly, but I don't love it. I don't have it upside down, or do I? I guess I do. It's silly, right? It's with all these zombies. It has this vintage look on it. And that is what I thought I would really like about it, that you can get different types of meanings or added meanings, I guess, because of the images in these cards. But I just noticed that when I look at this, I'm just not that inspired. I don't feel like I intuitively... I don't get intuitive hits out of this. When I was watching like walkthroughs and such, I thought I did get a lot of intuitive hits, but that now that I have it myself, and it's not super easy. Like, it's not super hard to shuffle, but it's just not super easy. And combining that with the fact that I don't get a lot of intuitive hits out of it, I kept the box just because I knew I wanted to possibly declutter this. But yeah, I'm gonna sell this. I'm just not in the market for a Halloween or spooky themed deck because I know this is very controversial, but I don't love Halloween. I don't love autumn. I'm really more of a spring summer child. Like really the first week of autumn and I'm already sick. Like physically sick. Also, we don't really celebrate Halloween here in the Netherlands, so it's not really a big thing here. Another deck that I wanted to declutter is the Arcanum Tarot. I really like the concept of this deck, and if I like worked with angels or something, then this is definitely a deck that I would keep. And look at this. Already the first card here is stunning. It is very glossy though, and this is also not a super easy shuffle. I can't really riffle shuffle this, and overhand it's just kind of chunky. But I think it's really stunning. I don't mind the photogenic like perfectness of these people, of the people in this deck. I think it's really stunning. Trying to not have it reflect too much. I think it's stunning, but I just noticed that I'm not, this is also stunning, I'm just not reaching for this. And I don't know who said it, but there was a video of someone, it might be by Jessica from Jess Reads Cards. She might have been the one to say this, that when you want to purchase a deck, it's like, okay, but before you purchase it, think about it. Is this deck going to compete with your favorite decks? Would you rather pick this one or your favorite deck? And I think this is just one that never gets picked because I would much prefer to work with my other decks. And the same goes for the Muse Tarot. It's stunning, but I am decluttering it because I'm not reaching for it. I did an entire deck study. I stand behind it. And I think I've seen it help a lot of people, but it is just not completely my thing. Like I want this to be my thing. I want this to be like my aesthetic, my deck. That would be so fun, but it's just not. And I already have like not necessarily a dupe, but an alternative deck, I guess, for because I wanted this for like creativity, spiritual manifesting work. But that's not really what this does for me. And my Wandering Star Tarot does do that for me. So I can now confidently, finally declutter this. I think this is like the third time it's in a declutter. Another deck that I'm going to declutter is my Wildwood Tarot. I have tried to give this a chance. And I have gotten quite a bit of comments of people on my walkthrough of this, where I was a bit critical because I didn't know if I was gonna like it, if I was gonna be able to work with it, because it strays from the RWS a bit too much, and some people got a little mad that I shouldn't read with it as RWS because it's not supposed to be RWS. I don't really think I said that in my video though, so I don't know where the angry comments are coming from. Anyway, people will be mad about anything, but yeah, I cannot get into, especially the court cards. I cannot get into the court cards. I think the shuffle on these is great. I think some of the imagery is really, really pretty. But also, a lot of these keywords here just don't work for me. And I think the Wildwood is it's just not meant to be a deck for me. So I still have the box and the guidebook. So I'm going to declutter it with those, or going to sell it with those. I say declutter, but I just mean selling it. Let's see. Another deck that I'm gonna declutter is the Happy Tarot. And this is one that it's funny because I loved this at one point earlier this year. And then I got a really tough hitting reading with it. And I didn't really touch it after that because this is such a sassy little deck. It's really, really cute. And the readings that I do with this are good as well, and they are more sassy than maybe you'd expect from a deck this cute looking. I have seen people compare this to like Candyland. I don't know what that is. I know it's a board game, but I never had it here in the Netherlands. But again, this is not a deck that I reach for if I have other decks that I could also reach for. I noticed that this is not a deck that I gravitate towards. Like, it's adorable. but I don't need it in my collection. I still stand behind any positive thing that I ever said about this deck. I just, again, don't need it in my collection. Another one that I've already said that I was gonna declutter a ton of times before, but never really had, I'm opening the bag right now, is my Housewives Tarot. I did a reading with it for like a belated birthday reading for a friend. And she really liked this this deck, so I decided to do a reading for her with it. It's really adorable, and I definitely get intuitive hits from this. It really helped me read the tarot in a different way. So in that way, this deck has done a lot for me. It's really easy to shuffle. I think it's adorable. But again, this is just not a deck that I reach for when I can reach for any of my other decks. I don't think I'm ever going to regret decluttering this deck or selling it. It's cute, like it's adorable. And I don't even keep it in the original box anymore. I threw that box away because it's just way too clunky. It's very similar to the Zombie Tarot. And I actually thought that the Zombie Tarot would be the same cardstock and card size as the Housewives Tarot, which it's not. And again, I love the Housewives Tarot. It's really great, but I don't need it in my collection. I want a collection of decks that I can pull from like anytime when I want to just like pull cards, when I just want to do a reading. I just want to be able to grab like any deck and do a reading with it. And I'm just not gravitated towards this. So the only Oracle deck that I'm going to be decluttering is the Barberi Zodiac Oracle. And the reason that I'm decluttering it is because of another deck that I have here that I recently purchased. And it's the Starcodes Astro Oracle, because both of these are astrology oracles. And I was really like looking for an astrology oracle that I really, really liked. And the Barberi Zodiac Oracle only has 26 cards. So it has the zodiac signs, it has the planets, and it has the elements. And the imagery really isn't super intuitive. I sort of like it, but it's just, it doesn't have enough. And the Starcodes Astro Oracle has 56 cards. And I did a deck study on this, which you can find. I'm going to try and remember to link it down below. But this one has the houses, the planets, the signs. It has aspects. It has asteroids. It has like a lot. It has so much. And I don't know, this is more my aesthetic as well. So I feel like this deck goes with more decks, but like with more of my tarot decks, which I really like. And the way that I use an astrology based deck is that I sort of usually ask the question of what astrological influences we need to like be aware of right now. Like I usually use this in like month ahead readings. I'm pretty sure I used this deck in my previous like October predictions. So yeah, decluttering the Barberi Zodiac Oracle. And then the last tarot deck, I'm a little bit sad about that I'm decluttering this, because I definitely have given this a fair shot, but this was a gift from someone. And it's very hard to declutter gifts or to, I guess, sell gifts. But the thing is that this is the Tarot of Mystical Moments. I got this as a gift again. Or I gave a reading in return because I was really grateful for the gift, because I really wanted to try it out. And aesthetic-wise, it's stunning. It's I classified this as like a Pisces deck, which I do think it's very Pisces energy. However, again, it's stunning. Look at that, Queen of Wands. I love the Queen of Wands. Like in any deck, and here it's also stunning. But I have just never gravitated towards this deck. And whenever I do almost like force myself to use this deck, the readings just don't really resonate with me. And it's really sad. Like I'm really sad about it, because again, it's stunning. It definitely is like my aesthetic. It's very glossy. The card stock, it's not super easy to shuffle for me because the cards are quite big. It's more oracle size. The gilding is really pretty. And it does look like I've used it a lot, but I guess it was secondhand. So but I just don't gravitate towards it. And I think I can make someone else really happy with this deck. So the deck gets the love that it deserves. So those are all the decks that I decluttered. That was quite a lot. Now to the decks that I've gotten. In September, I have gotten 0 decks. However, I already purchased a deck on October 1st. So I hope to have a video on that deck out this month. It depends on how quickly it's gonna get here. It's not a pre-order because it should already be out on Book Depository. I'm not gonna say which deck it is. I sort of already mentioned it on my Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram, you already know which deck I'm talking about, as well as if you are a channel member, because I mentioned it in Discord. But yeah, that is my show and tell for the month of September. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below what like your favorite memories are, which decks you have gotten, or if there are any decks that you have decluttered in the month of September. I would love to hear from you. I also love to get like YouTube recommendations. Like I watch a lot of TarotTube, so most of the TarotTube tarot tubers I have already seen, but I would love to hear your favorites in the comments down below, because I'm always looking for more things to watch. It also doesn't have to be tarot related, just anything. I would love to hear from you. You can subscribe to the channel if you want to see more tarot chats, as well as be a part of the weekly Saturday live streams where I do political and world news related tarot readings live. And I'm trying to end the live with viewer readings. You can sign up for my YouTube membership, which gives you access to the video version of my podcast, where I do a weekly forecast through cards and astrology, as well as access to the private Discord server, which I always say is a lot of fun. So I would love to see you there. You can book a private one-on-one tarot reading with me through the link in the description box below. But for now, I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.